Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. The newest started January 2024. We are here. So if you want to know how you're going to be able to transform this year, this is time to lock in. Let's go. But before we get into the video, you already know what to do. Just like I told you all last year, like, share, comment, subscribe, do what the YouTubers do. And I'm going to see you in a second. Whoa. Look, I know you're ready to see this video. Look, and I'm ready for you to see it too. But I would be remiss if I didn't let you know about this new opportunity. Look, are you somebody who's been struggling to create new products? Are you somebody who's been struggling trying to figure out how can I better serve my audience, my clients, my community? I am going to give you the keys to success right now. Check out my Motivated to Monetize newsletter. This is a free newsletter that I'm going to be sending out to the people who subscribe. And I'm going to show you frameworks. I'm going to show you strategies. I'm going to show you concepts that are going to increase your business. Look, I don't want to say too much more. If you're interested, go check out the link in my description for the Motivated to Monetize newsletter. I'll see y'all at the end of this video. Peace. All right, what's going on, everybody? Denzel Martin back with another video. Happy New Year. We have made it to January 2024. Look, I pray that the blessings come down, that the abundance springs forth, that the fields grow in your favor in this year. Look, I got a video for y'all. You can already tell by the title, Transform into 2024. Look, I'm not going to be using the board. I just wanted to write the title up there just so y'all know what it is. But I got so much to talk to you about. Look, I had to sit down and I had to really scope out what is it that is going to change this year? What is going to make this year so much better than last year? And how can I be more effective in my message to y'all? So I'm going to tell you now, if you got a pen and a pad, it would be in your best bet to go and grab it right now. It would behoove you to go grab that thing right now, because this is going to be the video. Look, I'm going to say, I hope this video gets at least 100 views, because what I'm about to say is about to be so impactful, so powerful that you probably need to watch this thing over again and again and again and again, and then pass it on to a friend and a friend and a friend and them, just like that. So look, it's time to lock in. How are we going to transform in 2024? All right, so I'm going to be reading from my phone because, like I said, I sat down, I took notes, and I really wanted this thing to really be something that's going to hit you to the chest. This is not just about the entrepreneurs. This is for everybody. This is about life in general. The first thing I want you to know is don't unplug from the source. Don't unplug from the true source. And I don't know what the true source is for you, but for me, that is God. And what do I mean by do not unplug from a true source? You got to stay grounded. You got to stay rooted in the word. You got to stay rooted in the teachings. Look, this year you have to stay on your grind. And the only way to stay on your grind is to lower yourself, humble yourself, and sit in the scriptures, get in the scriptures, read consistently, but not just read. You need to be studying. The only way to stay close to God is to have a communication with him. And to have that communication, you got to be open. That means you need to get to a quiet space. You need to get to a private place. Look, Yeshua, Jesus, he always had to leave the disciples, right? He didn't stay with them 24/7. He always took time away from them to go and pray with God, to continue the relationship, to continue the hearing, the conversing, the conversation. He had to go get his instructions from on high. So the same thing is for you. You got to do the same thing this year. If you want to be more effective in 2024 with your life, with your business, whatever, you got to be connected. You got to stay connected to the true source. And look, forget about the plug. What's a plug to a socket? Look, God is the socket. We got to plug into him to be able to continue to stay charged, to stay motivated, because it's too easy. There's so many things that's trying to disconnect us, to keep us away from him, to keep our relationship dwindling down and down. Look, every single year is something new. The saying, don't mention God, don't bring up Jesus, don't even bring up scripture. Look, but if you're a true believer, lock in. Keep that relationship going. Go to your quiet place. Go to a place where you can pray, where you can study, and where you can hear and be able to listen and feel his presence. Next thing you got to do this year is stop your self-defeating languages. Stop the self-defeating languages. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, just like I said, don't unplug from the source. you watch how you use I am, right? Watch how you use that phrase, I am. That is one of God's names, the great I am. When Moses asked God, you want me to go to Pharaoh, but who am I to tell them sent me? I'm gonna tell him to let my people go, but who am I to tell him who sent me with this message? And he says, tell him I am, the great I am sent you, right? So when you say phrases like I am broke, I am not this, I am not that, you are defeating yourself and you are really talking down on God. Watch your mouth when you use that I am. It better be nothing but powerful words that come after that. Don't say I can't, I cannot, I don't, I will never. Stop defeating yourself. It is the things that are coming out your mouth. Look, the power of life and death lies in the tongue, and those who eat of it. Look, you will eat what comes out of your mouth. So if you are constantly speaking positivity, you speaking life into your situation, your life is going to grow abundantly, positively. But if you are speaking death, you are speaking negativity, the only things that you could always say is just all the bad things. Guess what? You're going to eat that. We reap what we sow. So do you want to eat the good of what you speak, or do you want to eat the bad of what you speak? Look, stop the self-defeating languages, because we harp on other people trying to tear us down, but we never really sit and go to the mirror and look at ourselves when we are the ones who are tearing us down. Stop defeating yourself. You didn't cut yourself off. You didn't beat yourself up before the fight even started. This year in 2024, watch your mouth. Watch the things that come out of these lips, right? They say loose lips sink ships. Do you want to sink your own boat before you even stay afloat? Come on. This is what we got to do this year. This is how you're going to transform this year. Next thing you're going to do, you got to release the old mindset to take on a new mindset. Look, this year, I'm reading a lot more books on psychology. I'm reading a lot more books on not only my conscious mind, but my subconscious mind, right? There are things that are in your mind. There are things up here in these chambers that are going to transform your life. It's going to transform the way that you even think about yourself. It's going to transform the way you think of others. It's going to transform your perspective on anything. But in order to do that, you got to get rid of the old mindset. If you've been somebody who has always just been negative in thought, you got to get rid of that. You got to take on a more positive mindset. And it's easier said than done, but you got to be able to sit down and think about, how are these things serving me? If I'm constantly thinking in the negative, if I'm constantly thinking in defeat, if I'm constantly thinking in survival mode, if I gotta be a realist, how is that serving you? How is that helping you? What if that got you thus far? Right? And in order to take on a positive mindset, you got to think in the opposite way, right? We always talk about the optimist, the versus the pessimist, the glass is half empty versus half full. People try to harp on that. They think that's a dumb analogy, but guess what? It's all about perspective. I'm thinking in a growth mindset. That means that I'm thinking this glass that is halfway, I'm thinking that, I can increase it. While the other person is constantly thinking about, it's just going to keep going lower and lower and lower till I have nothing. It's hurting you. It's going to continue to hurt you. It's going to continue to take you down. Look, this year we got to take on new mindsets. We got to have mindsets that are building us up, that are building up the environments, building up the people around us, building up our spirit on the inside, our spirit man or our spirit woman. Like, you got a negative mindset, that means that you have a negative spirit about yourself, and you should not expect anything good to come about it. The word says to judge a tree by its fruit, right? So a good tree can only bear good fruit, and a bad tree can only bear bad fruit. So why would you expect a good tree to give bad fruit? A good tree don't have a negative mindset. It only has the good to produce more good. That's why this bad tree that you have is going to continue to produce the bad fruit. Don't expect it to produce nothing good, because there's nothing good coming about you. This year, change that mindset of yours. All right, next thing we got to do is stop committing suicide. Now, I know this one is a little touchy, but check this out. I'm not only talking about suicide in the physical, I'm also talking about suicide in the spirit. Being somebody that has been that person that people have called on the phone and like, look, I'm about to take my life. Look, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. I'm tired. I'm through with life, right? they call because there is still a level of hope somewhere deep down. Deep down, they really don't want to do this, but they feel like they don't have another option. I've been that person to sit and talk them off the ledge, talk them away from going off the deep end, taking that final step that is going to end their life. But guess what? It's not only ending their life in the physical, it's ending their life in the spiritual. You got to stop killing yourself spiritually. It goes back to the mindset. It goes back to our language. It goes back to our thought patterns and our perspectives. All these things add up over time. And if you don't never change those things, eventually you are going to kill off the good, the spirit that is on the spirit that is on the inside of you. You're going to kill off the last thing, the remaining thing that makes you you. We can't commit more suicide this year. We've had enough people die physically, but also die on the inside. You got to get to the place where you want more life. That's why Jesus said, I come so that people may have life and have more abundantly. In order to have more of an abundant life, you got to want to have more of him. You got to have more willpower. You got to have more strength. Your mind has to be stronger than your emotions. Look, I'm going to tell you right now how people always say, follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart. Guess what? Your heart is nothing more than an organ, right? But spiritually, your spiritual heart on the inside is what you need to be following. You need to follow the unction that the Spirit gives you. And I'm not talking about the negative spirit. I'm talking about the positive spirit. Follow the heart of your positive spirit. That is what's going to give more life. That is going to make you want to thrive, make you want to strive. Stop wanting to just give up. Stop defeating yourself. Stop throwing in the towel. Stop waving the white flag, surrendering to these self-defeating emotions. A lot of y'all do. These emotions are going to get you caught up. Not in 2024. Like, let's get these emotions out there. Throw them things out. Throw them away. Stop following them. Stop continuing to feel them. Stop letting them resonate and take up residence in you. Stop letting them live on the inside of you. Get those suicidal ideations away from you. Go somewhere where you see more life. Like, go somewhere where you can see more excitement. I know sometimes it's our environment. Don't become a product of your environment. Go somewhere, go into a new environment. Go somewhere where you see things are just budding, things are blossoming, things are blooming, things are booming, things are just going great, growing well. And then that will give you a passion. It'll give you something to strive for. Look, can I tell you, like, I've been there. All the stuff that I'm talking about, I've been there. I've been in these places. I've been in these spaces. I've been in these emotional caverns, right? You feel like you're in an abyss. You feel like you locked away in a chamber. You feel like you in the dark side, right? But I was able to get out of those things because I started to change my mind. I started to change my emotions. I started to change how I felt, not only about my feelings, but how I start to feel about myself. Look, can I give you a nugget? Can I give you a nugget right now? You got to increase the positive and decrease the negative, right? How do we do that? Sometimes you're going to have to use those compartments in your brain, right? What do I mean by using the compartments in your brain? Think about Batman, right? Batman, he always comes equipped. And I know this is a fictional scenario, but just roll with me, right? Batman got that utility belt, right? And on that utility belt that he always carried with him, that he never leave home without it. That utility belt is equipped with compartmentalized tools that go for everything. If Batman is going up against Superman, and when Superman turned evil, guess what? He got a compartment with a little bit of kryptonite in it, right? If he needs to get out of somewhere real quick and real fast, he got a little pill where he could do a flashbang or a smoke screen and get out of there, right? If he needs to throw something real fast and stop something from whatever, he got a compartment with a batarang on it. What I'm saying is, he never comes inequipped. He equips himself. And that's what we got to do in 2024. We have to equip ourselves and use those compartments. Compartmentalize some people if you got to. Compartmentalize some relationships. You know, if you got too many people around you that's always speaking negative, they don't never have nothing good to say. They don't believe in nothing that you got going on. They can't see the vision that you see. Guess what? Sometimes it's not meant for them to see the vision. And you got to compartmentalize that person in that relationship. You know what? I appreciate what you bring to my life, but right now, where I'm going, I'm gonna need you to go take a seat on the sideline, right? Let them be in their compartment. Let them, put them in a cubicle somewhere in your mind, right? Sometimes it's your spouse, sometimes it's your parents, sometimes it's your siblings, sometimes it's your friends, sometimes it's your co-workers. But guess what? Box them people up. Box them up and put them in a corner somewhere for the time being. Let them come out when you didn't got everything prepared. Like there's this verse, there's a line in one of my favorite songs. It says, I'm getting boxes, making room for help me move these boxes, making room for improvement, right? And what he's saying is in the song is, I'm making improvements with my life. I'm getting somewhere in my life right now. And these boxes is for me to compartmentalize a lot of things, a lot of the old things, a lot of things that I don't no longer serve me, the things that I don't play with no more. So help me put these things in their place for a time being, because I'm making improvements and I don't need those things in my way, right? Sometimes we got to compartmentalize those relationships. Sometimes we got to compartmentalize people. Sometimes that is the only way to decrease the negative. And as you went and compartmentalized all those things, also acquire some things, you know, because Batman, he even got a compartment on his belt where if he got to take a piece of evidence from a crime scene, that's where it's going, because he's now acquired something new. So for you, go and acquire more. That's how you increase the positive. Go and acquire something more positive. You know, go and get more positive relationships. Get around people who are talking in a way that you've never heard before. I remember when I was about 18, I got into my very first car accident. Me and my sister, we were driving in Tampa, right? And it was during the holidays, during Christmas time. The traffic is crazy. We was at the mall and, there was a car that was about to hit me, and I'm paying so much attention to the car that's about to hit me, I end up hitting the car in front of me, right? And so the people thought that I was the people that I hit, they thought I was trying to get away and do a hit and run. But no, I swerved off to the side. I threw my hand out the window, told them to follow me. So they followed me, right? And it was real good that I did that, because we was able to exchange information, all that. You know, nobody was hurt. Everybody was cool, but they invited me. They invited me to a seminar, right? And it was an insurance seminar. And they didn't want anything from me. You know, we was already doing the whole exchange of information. The insurance company is going to cover all the repairs and everything like that. But they invited me somewhere where I had never been, and I was hearing languages I had never heard. The people in there were already millionaires. And I remember they asked a question about I think it was, who in here is a millionaire? You know, and a lot of people raise their hand, and then they ask, who is not but would like to be? And I was one of those people. You know, it was one of the first times I ever been somewhere where I was hearing this language, because I don't come from that. I don't come from that environment. But that's what I'm saying. We got to get into environments, get around people, get around conversations that are going to change our outlook on life. That's how you increase the positive and decrease the negative in your life. Next thing is, don't stop learning. Look, whatever you do, don't stop learning. Just because you may have finished school, you may have finished high school, you may have finished college, you may have finished a certification course, whatever, never stop learning, right? Malcolm X said, education is the passport to the future, because tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Look, I'm in the mode for 2024. I'm locking in. I'm trying to learn every new thing that I possibly can. I'm reading more books than I read last year. I'm finishing more books than I finished last year. I'm not just reading, I'm studying. I'm studying these things and I'm taking notes, right? I'm acquiring new information and I'm letting that information process and create something new. Because the more you learn, the more you earn. If you stop learning right now, I promise you, you're going to fall so far behind that when you look up, you ain't gonna be able to realize what's becoming the world. You're gonna be a fossil, right? Where everybody else is in the new technology age. You know, it's the 21st century. By then, it'll be the 32nd century, and you don't know what to do. You know, you just lost in the sauce and all that. But you got to keep learning. You got to keep increasing this muscle. This muscle is one that shouldn't stop growing. You know, it shouldn't stop getting worked out. You know what I'm saying? This year, I'm telling you, continue to increase what you know. The more knowledge you have, the more effective you are. It don't matter what's going on the news. It don't matter what they say is happening in the economy. When you increase the knowledge that's in here, because those who have a limited ability to think, those who have a limited knowledge base, again, you're limited. That means you are restricted. That means you don't have all the access. You're not full access granted over here. You know, this G7 class, G16 classified. Well, guess what? We already on G50, and you don't belong on this floor. You can't come up to where we at because guess what? You stopped learning a long time ago. I know for some people this may be hard. You know, learning, it may get a little. It may get a little daunting, right? You may get to the point where you're just like, I'm tired of this. This is frying my brain. I feel like an egg on the sidewalk in the middle of Arizona, right? It's sizzling, right? There are ways that somebody can break these things down to you. You know, if you submit yourself, yield yourself to somebody who has a bigger knowledge base than you, who has more of a mental wherewithal. They can teach you these things. They can break these things down and simplify for you. So don't think that you can't learn something. You just need it to be spoken in a different language. It needs to be simplified. Let's chop these things up into baby bits. You know, you can't give a child no full steak. You got to cut the thing into little pieces and let them chew bite-sized pieces. And then eventually they get the whole thing. They be able to enjoy all the nutrients of that steak. And that's the thing for us mentally. We got to cut these things into pieces and take them down as much as we have to be able to process them and digest them. So don't stop learning in 2024. All right. And the last thing I want to say to you is you got to be able to maintain your pace. You got to be able to maintain your strength, and you got to maintain your endurance. Overall, what I'm really saying is maintain your race. This year, let's not get out the gate, you know, just being so ambitious that we just take off going at a full sprint and then can't maintain it. We can't keep it up. You know, we start lagging and dragging, and then eventually everybody that we was in the race with, they done passed us up, and we didn't went and sat down and drinking Kool-Aid and dousing ourselves with sugar and all types of treats and stuff, and now we just killed the whole race. The race can't even be finished. Guess what? Maintain your pace, maintain your strength, maintain your stamina. How do you do this? You do this by keeping yourself steady. In the military, when we say maintain your race, is all about keeping up with everybody in the run. You know, we go on formation runs, right? And we have somebody who's off to the left side of the formation who is running outside of the formation. Everybody else is already locked in, you know, in their column and they file, however you want to call it, right? And in the midst of that, the person off to the left, they are the ones who are giving the instructions to the formation as we're running, you know, and we have pace setters. The pace setters are the person who are all the way at the front, which is the person all the way at the far right in the very front. And that is the pace setter. You keep pace with that person. That means everybody needs to be behind that person, and the people that are beside that person are also supposed to keep up with him or her. They don't supposed to outrun them. We all keep the same pace, you know. So if we're going too fast, you tell the pace setter, hey, slow it down up front. If we're going too slow, hey, speed it up front. You know, that's how you keep the pace. That's how you keep your race. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't get too ambitious. And I know I really don't even want to say don't be too ambitious, because honestly, there's no such thing. But there is a point where we can get too reckless, where we take on more activities than what we should. This year, be productive, be organized, be able to set yourself up for success, set proper goals, objectives, and be able to calculate and really look at these things, you know, really be able to analyze and watch these things as they're being checked off the block. I don't want y'all to lose hope. I don't want y'all to lose faith. Look, Hebrews chapter 11, it does a perfect job of telling you about now faith, right? It starts it off at 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That means that forget about what you see naturally, right? Some people, they got to see it to believe it. Some people, it got to be tangible and already placed in their hand before they're going to believe something. And that's fine for those people, but I ain't one of them. I'm one of those people that the word talks about, where now faith, or trusting in the now. Trust right now. Even though it's not physical, even though it's not in physical form, it's not materialized, right? It's not in front of me just yet. But I don't see with my natural eyes. I see with my spiritual eyes. I'm able to see the things in another realm and another dimension to be able to pull them to my reality. Look, we got to be able to transcend our dreams, right? It's okay to be a dreamer. And I love being a dreamer, but at the same time, it takes initiative. It takes work. You know, the word also says in James that we have to have faith with our works, because faith without works is dead. That means you got to be able to trust God with the vision that he's giving you, but you also got to put the work in. That's the only way that this synonymous and symbiotic relationship is going to work. So when you dream and you are seeing things, you got to be able to transcend those dreams and be able to pull those things that you saw on the dream, in the dream realm, and bring them to this side. And be able to drop them at the feet of those who say, oh, I wasn't able to see that. I never saw that happening for you, or just, I never believed it. Oh, I can't believe, you stuck to it. They want to congratulate you then after you made it happen, right? But I told you this would happen because God told me it would happen. There's a list. There's a laundry list of names in Hebrews 11. I want y'all to go read that when you have the time. In Hebrews 11, it tells you about Noah. It tells you about Enoch. It tells you about Cain and Abel. It tells you about Samson. It tells you about David. It tells you about Gideon. It tells you about every single person who trusted in the word. And just because other people couldn't see in the same plane as you. Look, I'm saying I don't see two-dimensional. I see 3D, I see 4D, I see 5D, I see whatever D that it has to be. Look, you got to be able to look in other dimensions and be able to figure out, how can I take this lasso of mine and wrap it around that thing and be able to pull it towards me into this realm. This is one thing I like about David, and I'm going to get ready to end this, right? David, when it was time for him to go up against the Philistine Goliath, right? Goliath is this giant, monstrous individual, right? He got the whole landscape of soldiers under King Saul afraid, shaking in their boots. They ain't doing nothing. They afraid. They ready to turn and tuck tail, hide and run, pee on themselves and everything else, right? But David, being nothing but a sheep herder for his father, right? He came in with full courage, full on courage, and was able to stand up to this Philistine, King Saul gave him his personal armor to put on. And David was like, I can't operate in this armor. I can't work in this armor. I'm not used to this. And he took it off, right? And it says that he went down to a brook, which is a little body of water, and he pulled out 5 smooth stones. Right? So when he went up against Goliath, in his shepherd bag, he had 5 smooth stones. Now, legend has it that David only slung one of the stones and hit Goliath square in the head and killed him. Right? Knocked him out, fell to the ground, and David took Goliath's own sword and chopped his head off, right? Now, why do I say legend has it, right? Because he only used one, but how many did he start out with? He started out with 5 smooth stones, but it only took one. What was the other 4 for? It was for a contingency. David said, look, if I don't get him with the first one, I'm going to get him with the next one. If I don't get him with that one, I'm going to get him with the one after that. And I don't get him with the one after that, I'm going to get him with the one after, and so on, so forth. Look, for you in 2024, in order for you to transform this year, that's the type of faith. The now faith. The faith that is going to change everything right now. It don't matter what today look like. Look, I'm dropping this video on January 2nd. It is the second day of 2024 in the month of January. It don't matter what the plane looks like today. I'm going to go and get my 5 stones. It don't matter how many it take. If it take one, that's a blessing. But if the first one don't go, I got 4 more. If this is going to be your year, if this is going to be your time to shine, if this is going to be your time to elevate, to transcend, and to become what you've never been before, you got to be able to do the things that you've never done. You got to be able to take on new mindsets. You got to be able to be advantageous. You got to increase, not decrease, increase. You got to be able to maintain your hope, maintain your race, and you got to be able to have a now type of faith. Not now, but right now. Now we say it in the country, right now. Because transforming ain't easy. And sometimes it's going to take time, but it's never been impossible. Because God says that with man, things are impossible. With him, all things are possible. So as I bring this video to a close, I want y'all to know something. I have a transformative challenge of my own that is happening this month. Look, it is called the Rise to Monetize Challenge. I'm talking back to my entrepreneurs or aspiring and budding entrepreneurs. Look, if you want to be a business owner, if you have an idea to go and change your life, because this is one of the ways. And one of the ways to transform 2024 is to be able to start a business and to be able to knock out all the stuff that has been trying to hold you back from being successful. Check this out. In this transformative challenge of mine, it's only 3 days. It's only 3 days. Well, look, I taught you enough in this video right here. And like I said, I hope this video gets 100 views, and I hope that you share it with somebody or a whole body of people that can go and take these notes that you got and be able to transform their life. But for those who want to go and be successful in business this year, I got 3 days worth of content. I got 3 days worth of impact. I got 3 days worth of truth. This challenge is for the person who's been struggling so hard, who's just can't see their way out, has been looking for the light, who's been trying to provide for their family, who's been trying to take care of themselves, who's been trying to get out of debt, trying to be who they know that they truly are. The person who is trying to stop living in the past and live in the now. This challenge is for the person who knows that they have an idea that can change the world, change their environment, change their community, but just don't know what to do yet. This challenge is for you. It is called the Rise to Monetize Challenge. And I wouldn't even bring it up if it wasn't all that in a bag of chips with a side of Coke or Pepsi or whatever you like to drink with your food, right? But what I'm saying is this challenge is for the person who's been looking for a way to get in, to get to the marketplace, to become the person that they are trying and knowing that they can become. If you don't have that community of positivity like I was talking about, this challenge is where you will find it. This challenge is where you will be able to increase. This challenge is where you will be able to create relationships, because guess what? You won't be the only one there. It'll be other people who have been going through the same things, the same trials and tribulations, the same struggles. Look, this challenge is for you. So I want you to go to www.risetomonetizechallenge.com or just go to the link in the description below. And I promise you, this year, starting in January, I'm going to give you the blueprint, and I'm going to give you everything you need to take this year and to transform into something that you couldn't see, or maybe you have seen and just haven't been able to just yet. This is going to be your year. This is a year where it all changes. In 2024, Rise to Monetize Challenge. But look, I hope this video was valuable to you. I hope that you was able to get a lot. Like I said, I hope this video gets at least 100 views. Go share it with somebody who's going to share it with somebody who's going to share it with somebodies. And let's go and keep this video in rotation, knowing that there's a lot of things that we got to change to be able to transform into 2024. So do what the YouTubers do. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell just so you're notified every single time I drop another video just like this. This year ain't gonna be no different. We just rising, we monetizing, and we going up on a whole new level because God said we got to be able to be fruitful and multiply. And I ain't talking about getting pregnant and having babies. I'm sorry, but Jay, look, it's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to serve y'all some more and more in this year in 2024. Peace.